Occurred the 16th of July 1985, 21 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Griffith, in USA. Shape: other duration: 2 minutes. No of observers. 2 Me and my friend, name deleted, drove a car and went to a deep area path beyond Griffith Park to a vast area of weeds and trees. As we went down a pathway, we got out of the car, as strange constant lit red hovering objects were coming towards us. At first we thought we were being attacked by teenagers running towards us with lit cigarettes, or lighting bugs coming through the woods and grass, until more and more of these lights appeared. Over 30 moving were now all over the place, and were now moving in a floating manner right towards us, 40 feet away. This was not human. This what we seen, is humanly unable to really describe. These lit probes moved together, yet each constant lit tiny light moved as if separate, and knowing we were there, it was coming after us because we were there. We hardly ever talk about it, except now that we are older, I have begun to wonder more strongly what encountered us. We tried to rule out anything alien, because I do not believe life exists in space. Maybe something scientific and unexplainable is taking place.
Occurred the 16th of November 1999, 2 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Griffith, in USA. Shape: flash duration: 1 to 2 minutes. No of observers. 1 characteristics: lights on object. In the early morning, I saw very bright lights shining into my window. The flashes of light were so bright that I thought something big had to be happening. There were 2 distinct instances of the bright light. The first one flashed about 3 times, then there was a period of about 30 seconds went by, and then another episode came again. I got up and looked out my window, and there was nothing to look at. The light shined through my south window. I just happened to find this UFO site. I entered bright shining light into the search engine, and there was a site telling about the light that I saw too. Just to let you know.
Occurred the 19th of August 2003, 3 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Griffith, in USA. Shape: triangle. Duration: 5 minutes. No of observers. 1 dark grey unlit triangular craft hovering silently on or about August 19th, 03 at 3:30. I have trouble sleeping at times. I was on my way to a local 24-hour gas station to gas up the car for the next day's errands. I drove to the end of my street and stopped at the stop sign and was getting ready to turn right. I checked the traffic to my left, and of course on a weekday there wasn't a car in sight. For some reason, I happened to look up slightly when I looked left and saw a triangular shape in the sky slightly above the treetop and maybe a 1-block distance from where I was. The object was dark grey in color, no lights at all, and was hovering motionless in the sky, tilted slightly so that one point was lower than the other two, as if it were looking at something on the ground. It was the size of a private plane if the plane was in the same spot. I was sitting in my car, so I rolled down the driver's side window because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The object never moved or made a sound the 5+ minutes I sat there looking at it. It's like my eyes were seeing this object, but my brain wasn't registering what I was seeing. I went down to gas up the car, and on my way back I was searching the same part of the sky that I had seen the object. I was only gone for 5 or 6 minutes, but the thing was gone. I sat in my car at the end of my street searching the sky in that area and did not see it anymore. I drove down my street, parked the car and stood out in front of my house and didn't see anything else. I was terrified because I usually go out in the very early morning hours, and if I didn't look in that particular part of the sky that early morning, I would not have seen it. The color difference between the night sky and the craft was slight, and you would have had to look directly at it to see it.
Occurred the 18th of March 2012, 21 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Griffith, in USA. Shape: circle. Duration: roughly 30 minutes. No of observers. 2 characteristics: lights on object, aircraft nearby, erratic moving red lights rising in the sky, followed by an unusual number of aircraft in the sky. I was outside on the phone with a friend of mine. I looked across the street and noticed a bright, almost fiery looking red light slowly rising into the sky. I couldn't figure out what it was, so I ran inside to bring my sister outside to see if she could see it and or knew what it was. When we got back outside, it was gone. As we searched for it, we noticed the sky was unusually clear for our area, and the stars were unusually bright. When we faced the opposite direction, we saw the light again above our neighbor's house, moving in an erratic manner and darting all over. Then, it was gone. We then noticed another, in a different part of the sky, which my sister recorded on her phone. It was moving similarly. We then began to notice a number of airplanes in the sky, all about the same distance away from us, all in different parts of the sky. All flying as if they were flying the perimeter of the Earth. That's the best way to describe it. We counted 9 airplanes. That amount of airplanes, all at once, is extremely unusual in our area particularly. We also looked up to see a very, very large plane fly overhead that was so large and so close, the shape could be made out perfectly. It was loud and had bright circular lights lining the bottom of it in a V formation, something I've never seen on an airplane before.
Occurred, the 29th of July 1978, 23 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds local location, Highland, in, USA shape. Disk duration. 3 minutes no of observers. 1 characteristics. Lights on object. Changed color. I looked out my window to see a disc-shaped object hovering about less than 100 feet over my house. This happened when I was only 7, but I can picture it like it was yesterday. On hot nights when I couldn't sleep, I would put my face up against the window that was right next to my top bunk because the window was always cooler. One night I did this and opened my eyes to see a disc-shaped object hovering less than 100 feet over my house. It was all lit up in different colors and the lights kept flashing in a pattern. My parents were sitting on the couch in the next room talking, and I called out to them asking them what that thing in the sky with all the lights was. My mom didn't even look out but called back that it was an advertisement and that someone was having a sale or grand opening. At the time, being only 7, this made perfect sense to me, but later I realized that from my description she thought that I was talking about a strobe light. It was at this time that I realized that that thing that I had seen was not anything the average citizen was familiar with. As I watched this object, it slowly and silently started to drift in a slightly NW direction towards the Ridge Road Viaduct just east of Wicker Park, until it was out of sight from my window. Years later I was talking with a friend who had lived a few doors away at the time, and she described for me the exact same thing even though we had never discussed it before. She had seen it too.
Occurred, the 15th of July 1983, 13 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds local location, Highland, in, USA shape, disk duration. No of observers, 1 fishing in a pond. I believe it was called Optimus Lake and has long since been covered over. In Highland, Indiana, just off of Indianapolis Boulevard is where I had seen it. The saucer looked of seamless gold bronze and had portholes a third of the way up its structure. It was at an angle leaning towards me, nestled in between 3 to 4 treetops as cover to hide from the main road. I did not see the bottom. My family ventured off to fish further down, and I felt I needed to look up and over my shoulder when I had seen it. I do not know if it was fear or embarrassment, because I had just finished peeing in the lake in my youth, but I looked away as if it was just another object in my life, as if to say, so what? I have never shared this story, but I cannot seem to get the image out of my mind. I did look back up eventually, but it was gone, and I never heard a thing to cause me to look up. It was as if I somehow knew it was there.
Occurred, the 11th of October 1998, 20 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds local location, Highland, in, USA shape, sphere duration. No of observers. 3 possible spherical object in northern sky. Colors were green over yellow over red. Disappeared, then reappeared west of original location. Flashing at some points. First sighting was at 20:30 Central Time. Object was located in northeastern skyline. Description of object. Possible sphere-shaped. Top section first appeared green. Center is yellow. Lower section glowed red. After watching the object with binoculars, it had drifted to the east. Then it seemed to have disappeared. Reappeared, possibly even another craft, unlikely, west of the original position. Approximately 30 minutes later, the object rotated clockwise. The red glowing section pointed northwest, while the green section seemed to have vanished. The majority of the object seemed to be yellow at this point. The yellow pointed southeast towards the ground. Eventually it rotated back. It then seemed to have drifted back to its original sighting position. Rotated a 90-degree angle clockwise, then went straight up higher into the atmosphere. It went back to the original colors, green on yellow on red, rotated back. Watching it longer, I noticed something was dropped suddenly from it. I saw it fall for not even a second and then it disappeared. The object has sat in that one position for several hours now.